Wow, what a night it was. On Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, around 2 a.m. local time in Caracas, the United States attacked Venezuela. It was a major air and ground operation that occurred in and around the capital, with additional reported activity in the states of Miranda, La Guaira, and Aragua. As you can see on the images, the residents reported multiple explosions, low-flying aircraft, and power outages in parts of the capital. Meanwhile, the Venezuelan government statements allege that both military and civilian infrastructure were hit. Some very important installations were probably destroyed. Of course, this is still very new information, so we are still learning what is exactly that happened. But there are reports that strikes happened near the Fuerte Tiuna, a major military complex. And it seems that the Maduro dictatorship was totally surprised of what has happened. However, it wasn't like it came out of nowhere. The United States have been gathering forces around the Caribbean for months now, including the biggest aircraft carrier that the United States have, USS Gerald R. Ford. It's one of the biggest US military buildup for decades in this region. It was estimated that the overall force numbered around 15,000 personnel. That includes ship, aircraft, and marines. If you would like to get that graph showing you the exact numbers, I will post it on my Telegram channel, so make sure you check it out. I will probably also post it on my X account, so make sure to check out that also. Links will be in the description of this video. Anyway, the amount of forces gathered around Venezuela means that the United States have almost infinite possibilities to strike Caracas. That could be planes, as you saw, but it can also be Tomahawk missiles fired from the destroyers or even the submarines that are gathered around Venezuela. That's why right before the attack, Maduro was calling Trump because he knew that he has no chance of surviving if the United States attack. However, what the United States have achieved in this military operation is truly remarkable because it involved special forces on a territory of the enemy. Perhaps the only force that could match this is the Israeli Special Forces. But still, the United States, I mean, that was just fantastic what they did. Before we will talk about the results of this attack, I want you to see this video because I think it's pretty cool.
We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
One thing is for sure, under Trump, the US military is no joke.
He's offered everything.
Once again,
you know why?
the United
Because
States
he
Army
doesn't want to
is the
around with
most
the United States.
feared
Thank you,
force
everybody.
in the world. Yep, that's no joke. The United States have captured Maduro in his country, on his territory, while he knew that the strike will probably happen very soon. This is a clear message to other dictators. Watch out. They're probably thinking right now, would I be protected? Could they do it to me if they wanted? This is something that puts a lot of fear on, for example, the leader of Iran. Even Putin may be scratching his head right now because Venezuela was a close ally of Russia. This is probably the second most impressive operation under Trump's presidency. It may be the first one. It may be even more impressive than the one where Iran was attacked by B-2 bombers. However, I still think that the attack on Iran was probably more impressive because it required much more coordination. I mean, just think about it, that B-2 bombers dropped the biggest bunker buster penetrators from a very high altitude, and it went into the mountain to destroy the nuclear facility. The Iranians were sure that nothing can touch them. I mean, it's inside the mountain. What can you do? And yet, the United States did something. Now we know that the nuclear program was totally obliterated. Additionally to the very impressive strike on Fordo, the nuclear facilities, the United States also used Tomahawk missiles to strike military targets in Iran, such as Isfahan. And it seems that the war between Israel and Iran, of which the United States strike was a part of, had greater repercussions than we have realized at the time. Now we can clearly see what it led to. The Iranian people are raising against the regime that has been weakened significantly. Is this the end of the regime of the Ayatollahs? Well, time will tell. But it seems that a lot of people within Iran are fed up with this situation, with this government that led up to this horrible situation in the country. The protests were triggered by a sudden decrease of the national currency in value. I mean, look at this information. It's quite shocking. In 1979, $1 cost 70 reals. Today, $1 costs 1.4 million reals. And that just caused the people of Iran to explode with anger because their money, their savings are worth nothing right now. And the government, instead of finding a way to help their citizens, it is involved in funding terrorist organizations around the world. So yeah, Iran doesn't look too sharp right now too. After an exhausting war with Israel, and now the sanctions that were put on this country, it is suffering really badly. And now another ally of the Ayatollahs, the Maduro regime, seems to be over. Another brilliant operation by the United States, where even Black Hawk helicopters were used. Now, if helicopters were used, and it really seems like they were, that means that the military of Venezuela was really rubbish. Helicopters are fairly easy targets to hit down if you have the right equipment. But compared to the United States military power, the Venezuelan air defenses were something like on this video. No match for the United States, especially in the shape they are under Trump's presidency. But seriously, this is what Venezuela had as far as military goes. Russian equipment mostly. And again, if this equipment that the Russians sold to Venezuela is confronted with the newest equipment that the United States has, it has no chance. And this is also a message to Putin himself. It's another humiliation after Iran, because Iran also had mostly Russian equipment that was useless against Israel and the United States. Now, everybody who wants to buy Russian equipment will probably think twice, because they will think, it didn't really help the Iranian regime. It didn't really help Maduro and his regime. There are also videos now showing you the results of the strike on Venezuela. Now we can ask ourselves a question. Is this a good thing that has happened or a bad thing that has happened? That's a very important question, right? Well, it all depends on your perspective. If you are in Maduro camp, if you are in Putin's camp even, if you are in Iran's camp, this is of course very, very bad. If you are in the US camp, well, this is pretty good. You are showing real power in the region. Now, the main reason why the United States attacked Venezuela, according to Trump and his officials, is because of the drug trafficking. But we also need to be realistic here, and it's not a secret that Venezuela has huge oil reserves. Now, this black gold that used to be a great source of income for Venezuela has shrinked dramatically since the tariffs were imposed by the United States. And suddenly Venezuela went from a well-developing economy to a country that is struggling economically. Now, was Maduro a good or bad guy? Well, he was a dictator and people certainly didn't want him. And this was shown in the last elections. Maduro claimed, of course, that he won the election, but everybody knew that he lost and he is just keeping it illegally. That's why the majority of the people in Venezuela will not cry after Maduro. And in fact, the people on the streets of Caracas are very happy now. But since this channel is called Israel My Channel, let me provide you a perspective from Israeli point of view. So Israelis will not cry that Maduro is gone, because Maduro was no friend of Israel. Maduro even called Netanyahu the Hitler of the 21st century. So now that Maduro is gone, it's more of a relief, because he was really a friend of Iran, not Israel. Okay, but the last question I want to ask is, what will happen to Venezuela after this is all settled down? What will be the future of this country? But perhaps there is a plan to install Maria Corina Machado, the persecuted Nobel Prize winner, Peace Nobel Prize. This is the prize that Trump wanted to have. And yet, a Venezuelan woman received this Nobel Prize. Now, Trump could install her in Venezuela. That would be something, right? Trump didn't get the Nobel Prize, but he installs a person that did win the Nobel Prize. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed my comments on the situation in Venezuela. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that bell button, and also like the video. This really helps me as a creator. But if you really would like to support me as a creator, the best way to do it is through Patreon. I will leave links to my Patreon in the description of this video. It's really simple. People have done it. It's safe. And even if you choose to support me with $1, I will be very, very grateful. If not, that is okay too. I will not stop creating the videos. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Shalom.